All right, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to update Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. This is a weekend edition. It's also a month-end edition. It's also a quarter-end edition. So this was the end of the third quarter. It was not pretty. The second quarter was horrendous. The third quarter was not great either. So I want to go through where we're at. I'm going to compare some numbers. I put some new charts together, so stick with me. I want to show you guys some new stuff. We talk about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners all the time on this channel. So if that's content you're interested in, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody could please smash the like button. And I want to thank everybody. In the last couple of videos, you guys really hit the like button a lot, and it helped me get back into the algorithm because I did miss a few days from the hurricane. So thank you so much to everybody who showed up and left some comments and hit the like button. Also, if you're interested, you can become a member of the channel by hitting the join button, and there's some exclusive content for members only, as well as there's a live stream every Tuesday afternoon for members only. So we'd love to have you. Okay, let's talk about Bitcoin. First, I'm just going to very quickly go through where the quarter ended as far as the equities go. So the S&P 500 was down 1.5 points. So the S&P 500 finished at a new low on Friday. The Dow was down 1.7. The Dow finished at a new low on Friday. And I'm talking about a 52-week low. And actually, for all of these, this is almost a 2-year low. You really have to go back to November of 2020 to get back to these numbers. So the NASDAQ did just barely touch that area, not as much as the S&P and the Dow, but it also hit a low on Friday. And the Russell 2000 was down 0.6%. So it was a red day across the board to finish out the quarter, and that was pretty much indicative of the entire quarter. This was a rough quarter. And this has been a very rough year. The NASDAQ is down, I think, 33% year to date. The S&P 500, I think, is down about 25% year to date. I mean, these are big amounts to be down, being through a full 3 quarters of the year. So this is mostly going to be about Bitcoin, but I just wanted to put it in perspective because as we look at Bitcoin, I want to bear in mind everything else is getting wrecked and it's pretty much hitting or taking out its new lows. Bitcoin, that is not happening. So I do feel like there's a little bit of strength here in Bitcoin that we have not seen in a long time. So, although Bitcoin is still struggling in the 19,000s, and that's not where we may like to see it at this moment, there's some newfound strength here that we've got some momentum building that I think is predictive of what's going to happen in the fourth quarter. So obviously we don't know the future. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but we're going to keep a close eye on this because I'm in no way calling for a bottom or that we're about to move into a bull market across the board. These are very rough times, and there's probably rough times ahead. So I don't know where the lows are in the market, but I am starting to think we have seen the low in Bitcoin. I've been saying that really since this summer, and we have not revisited the summer lows. We hit 17,600 in June. It's now 3.5 months later. We have not gotten back down to that. And I'm feeling more and more comfortable that Bitcoin may have a little relief rally here. So for those of you who watch the channel, I'm a week and a half into saying this, so you may be getting sick of hearing it, but I still feel that's the direction we're going in. If the evidence shows us otherwise, then I will change my mind. A lot of people say I flip-flop, but I watch the charts, and if the technical starts saying the opposite, I'm going to say the opposite. So for now, I still do see the potential for some momentum. So let's go to some of the charts that I made and kind of summarize what's happened over the last 3 months, because there's some definite patterns coming out in Bitcoin as well as the Bitcoin miners, and there's starting to be winners and losers. So I want to take a look at that and help put things in perspective. Okay, so this is the first chart. This measures the low for each Bitcoin mining company. Each of the Bitcoin mining companies hit a low somewhere in the last few weeks of June. So somewhere just before the end of the second quarter. So I measured from that point until where they closed on September 30th, which was Friday, which was the end of the third quarter. So essentially, this is your third quarter activity for the most part, and this is off of the lows from the summer. So this is where you're really going to see there's some massive separation going on. Some of these Bitcoin miners are doing just fine or very well. Others are getting absolutely destroyed. And the stocks are not always behaving the same way the companies are behaving. So that I like to always stress, that's where I look for opportunities. Are there companies that are executing very well, but the stock is just getting dragged down with the tide? Because we know everything across the board, even extra large cap stocks, mega cap stocks are now hitting 52-week lows. At this point, finally, really, there is no place to hide, but some of the best places to hide are the things that are already taken out. We have to find the companies that just got pulled down with the rest of the group, and they're now undervalued. Marathon's up 106% off of its summer lows. It's still way down from its high that it hit. We had a 2-month relief rally that ended August 15th, so Marathon even got much higher than this, but the fact is they held on to a lot of those gains. They're still up more than a double from this summer. So if you bought Marathon this summer, you're doing great, right? I mean, you're doing just about as good or better than anybody in the stock market. They have the most institutional investors, so I think people are flocking to these two in specific because they view them as a more safe place to keep your money if you're going to be in this industry. But there's a few others that have done extremely well also. Iris Energy, stock ticker IREN, they are up 43% off of their summer lows. Hut is up 40% off of their summer low, and Hive is up 33% off of their summer lows. But what I'm more interested in is look at this next group. So next you'll see Bitcoin. Bitcoin is there in yellow. It's up 11%. If you can't read that, it looks a little hard to read. As we looked at all the indexes, the S&P 500, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the Russell 2000, whereas they are all hitting new lows, Bitcoin is still 11% off of its lows from the summer. So it is outperforming everything else. Basically, the only thing that Bitcoin is not outperforming at this point is the US dollar. And Bitcoin is performing well in spite of the US dollar because the run that the dollar has had really should have punished Bitcoin, but it has not. There's a bunch that are almost exactly at their summer lows. So they're retesting their lows right now. So the question is, a lot of those lows may hold. This could be an opportunity where there's a bunch of these stocks in the middle that are retesting their summer lows. They're going to bounce off of those lows, and this may be a very good window of opportunity. So again, none of this is financial advice. I'm giving you guys different ways that I look at this because I try and find every possible way to look for an opportunity in the market. So when I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stocks within 1% of their summer lows, to me that says there's a group of these Bitcoin miners that are holding on. They're actually holding strong. So that might seem like awful performance, but this is a retest of the low, and thus far, they seem to be holding. That's no guarantee that they're going to go up, but those are the ones I would take a closer look at. Those are the ones that are worthy of maybe putting on people's watch lists and see, is there a bargain in that group? Then we've got another group that's in red. The first one I want to talk about, GREE is down 1%, but that's one I really consider as really retesting its lows right now. CORZ Scientific is now down 7%. Off of its lows from the summer. So I want to talk about that one in specific because Marathon, Riot, and CORZ Scientific are the 3 biggest market caps, or the 3 biggest companies in this space. 2 of those companies have outperformed by a mile. CORZ Scientific, the third one, is underperforming. They have now taken out their summer lows and they seem to be heading down from there. If CORZ Scientific does make it through this, remember they are mining more than double the next closest Bitcoin miner. So there's a point where I will probably either buy some of the stock or some of the leap options. So again, not financial advice. Please just don't do what I do. You guys got to do, or don't do what anybody tells you to do. Most people that watch my channel are pretty sophisticated and they know what they're doing. So, I know you guys do your own due diligence. Okay, I'm just going to talk about a couple of more in the red. There's some of these that are in the red that have their own story. Their companies are not going well. They were overvalued to a point that they should have never been in the first place. So they're in the red. They probably deserve to be in the red. But I want to talk about a couple more that I think don't make any sense. CleanSpark is down 15% off of its lows from the summer. So CleanSpark's at its all-time low. So I've mentioned this one several times. I am invested in CleanSpark and I do continue to add to that position. And the more they knock it down, the more I'm going to continue to add because operationally they've just had a series. They had 4 or 5 press releases in the month of September that represented significant progress in their operations. So again, I have to say, this is not financial advice. I'm not recommending that stock to you, but I would say you should put it on your watch list. DigiHost is down 21%. They've had some rough times. Stronghold is down 29%. They've had to pretty much restructure their whole business. And Mawson is down 56%. They also have had to pretty much restructure their whole business. However, there could be some potential opportunity down there. Obviously, there's much, much more risk in those. The market is now building that risk in by having them taking out their all-time lows by 30% or 50+%. So I think this is a fascinating schedule, and again, this is as of the end of the third quarter, so this is basically, depending on when the summer lows were, this is anywhere from a 90 to 105-day period of performance for each one of these stocks. I just want to show this one other way. The area in blue is Marathon. So Marathon now makes up 25% of the entire market cap of all the publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies. Now, there are 5 or 6 publicly traded companies that are not on my list, but they are all smaller than the smallest company that is on my list, and they really would not change these numbers in any meaningful way. All put together, they might make up 1%. So you've got Marathon at 25%. You've got Riot at just under 22%. These two stocks are making up a massive, massive amount of the pie. You'll then see Core Scientific is now 9.3%. So despite the fact that Core Scientific produces substantially more Bitcoin than Riot or Marathon, their market cap has shrank and shrank and shrank. It is now much, much lower. They were the same size as these guys. At one point, Core Scientific was actually bigger than all of these companies. So now they are much, much smaller. They've been punished substantially in the year 2022. So things start to get very, very small here. I want to show you this same chart at June 30th because it's a little more evenly distributed. So remember, you've got almost half of the chart here with these two companies. If I go back to June 30th, so this is the same exact chart as of June 30th, you'll see you've got Core Scientific at third, but it's almost right there neck and neck with Riot and Marathon. 15%, 15%, 13%. So you'll see everybody else from there, it starts to drop off dramatically, and again, you've got all the rest. So that doesn't mean there's not opportunities down here. I just want to finish on the 4-hour Bitcoin chart because this basically shows you the strength we've had in Bitcoin. This was a low we hit back in September. This red line down here at 17,500-ish, that is the low we hit back in June. So you can see we've never approached this. Over the last few weeks, as everything else has bottomed out or created new lows, Bitcoin has not gotten anywhere near that. We're currently sitting over 9%, 9.5% above that. So, that's not to say we couldn't have a 10% pullback in Bitcoin or in the whole cryptocurrency world, right? We know it's an extremely volatile world there, but this has held on much, much, much stronger than all of its competition. And you can see really over this period of time, this is a 10-day window of time, this arrow is going up and to the right. So we are trending in the right direction here on Bitcoin. I've been calling for a relief rally. We're really not seeing that in the Bitcoin mining stocks very much, but I do like this trend, and I do believe it's going to continue. So we're going to keep our eye on this. We're going to keep a close watch on this. Thankfully, the third quarter is over because, as you can see, it was nothing to write home about. So I'm going to dig a little deeper into this and do another one of these Bitcoin miner updates tomorrow. So I will see you in that video. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. Remember to subscribe to the channel and smash the like button. Thanks again.